What's up, buddy? Well, I'm gonna be a bit strange today because I'm out of it. I was really sick. Well, I am really sick, actually. So, and I mean it really bad. So I got some antibiotics. They failed, and it's catching my body. The actual thing. But yeah. Anyways, so my head's very blurry. I'm gonna try to read this stuff and figure it out. So I might not be totally there. I might screw up. But let's get into it, guys. We got four first new. Oh man, there's a lot of stuff today. Let's try to go as fast as possible. We got it says here 4 times more pills at his home than the number of citizens in his town. What the hell is going on? Oh, it's just Oh, they're not actually gonna talk, are they? All right, nothing to show there. Sorry. Who is it? Stéphane Desroches ou Desroches, 50 years old, was arrested Wednesday morning. What date is this? 22nd. We're good. Yeah, we're 27th. Okay, it's not too bad. Last Wednesday. So he lives in a HLM. That's public housing. And what do you got here? So they got caught with 48,000 units of M&M and 1.8 kilos of Caine. You got the obligatory neck tattoo, and nothing good could come out of that. Where are we? They got at his house $235,000 of cash and luxury goods estimated at $100,000. So he was living pretty good, wasn't he? Or was just the money to re-up his stash. And where we have, what else do we got? Nothing more. Stefan, yeah, he's not working currently, so how did he make that money, they're saying. It's not the first time he was arrested. In 2011, he was arrested in an operation, anti-fire operation, Deluge, and in Mauricie, and dang, in that operation, he was arrested among 49 suspects, other people. 49 in that operation. Now, for this operation, this one right here. Maybe it's that one. I'm not sure which one they're talking about anymore. I think it's another. The previous one, they got 25,000 units of M&Ms. Yeah, it has to be. It's different numbers. But anyways, it looks like it was smaller. This time, they got him a bigger amount, bigger money. How you say his working capital was bigger, because last time they're talking about 166,000, and is it 25,000 units of M&M, whereas now they're saying it's 4 times the citizens of this 11,000 deep town. So his working capital increased, his clientele increased. A decade and a half later, he's on the rise, but he got caught again. Stéphane Desroches. What's up, Max? Max the Youth. Look at this one, Max. Around your hometown, buddy. A car in flames in the parking lot in Lévis. Here we have a photo taken by Jérémy Bernier, and fires, man, catching up with fires. Usually it's in the Montreal area. However, these gangsters see each other do it, and now they're all adopting this strategy. Whereas we could say before, it was I would say this. It's not first time cars burning. It's the reason why, how these cars are burning. Back in the days, you used to hear about cars burning. It was after a hit job. Like, we would hear about it in British Columbia. We'd always hear about they found a vehicle burning, but then a few hours before someone got murdered, and they believed that was the car. Now it's no longer that only. Now it's like more, even 90% more, burning a vehicle to send a message to the enemies, man. It's crazy, isn't it, Max? And Heretic Crone, what's up, Heretic? Yeah, so we have another fire here in Lévis in the parking lot. Oh, not another. The first one we're reading today, right? And this is the 21st of October. So this is the day before he got caught. We had this. So they went at 7 in the morning. Someone called the ambulance. By the way, it feels good to speak to you, Max, man. How are you, buddy? And Heretic with Crone, it's good to be here with you guys. You're going to see I'm a little bit sick. Not a little bit. I'm very sick. Believe me on this, Shivers, the whole thing, man. The antibiotics failed me. I took them for a week, and as soon as I stopped taking it, the thing came back in a vengeance, you know. So now I have the super microbes, trying to not die here. But yeah, look at this. Where are we? So it was the basement of a condo. Is this condos? Looks like a condo. This is the basement where they park the vehicles. Maybe they were attacking their enemies, stupefiers, you know, that kind of jazz. Let's see where the next one here is. Another criminal fire on a vehicle in the sector of Vanier. That's it. Death, intimidation, getaway vehicle. So here we got another one, and it's not like we're flying to Montreal, you know. We're still in the red zone, right? We're still in the red zone, Quebec City, Vanier area, and we're talking about a vehicle burning. And this one is the 20th. Oh, okay. So we read it in reverse. This should have been read first, guys. This event is the one that happened first, and what we just read previously was the second day. Got it. So what actually happened on that first day? But it's funny there, we did miss an article because it says on this first event, you know, supposed first event, it says another vehicle was set on fire. That's their wording here. So would we be at 3? So we can only speak about 2. I don't know about the other one, but they're saying for us it's number 1. All right, just say for us it's number 1 so we don't get lost. It says at 4 p.m. they got called. All right, and just gonna see if we can skip here. Yeah, we don't get too much any info than that. But you could see there's under attack. The stupefier wars are continuing in the red zone. Next one, Toronto-Montreal Corridor. I think we read about something like this a few weeks ago, right? And it was a refresh because about a year or 2 years ago, we also read about the, what's his name? Emmanuel Pitira, Montreal North Corridor to Toronto, and he was like re-upping a ton of Caine. And I don't mean that as an expression, like a tons of Caine. No, he was re-upping a ton of Caine, and he got, but he's still on the run. He got busted. They're looking for him. They got his friends, whatever. He had a big, deep operation, but the pipeline went to Toronto, and the common theme is that a lot of these pipelines do seem to get it from Toronto. It seems to be Toronto's how could you say this? It's the supply depot. Montreal's the supply as the depot, but Toronto, I don't know what's the word for that. You know, it's like it's the HQ or something. I don't know what the words are for warehousing and stuff, but that's where it gets shipped out from, you know? Shipping center, I guess. Here you have, another article here, Toronto-Montreal Corridor, 9 suspects arrested for trafficking Caine. What do we got? So it's the anti-gang squad of the police. Got it. We are at, they put their hands on 46.5 kilos of Caine. 46.5 kilos of Caine, a fire tool, and $80,000 in cash. Well, the 46 kilo is pretty big, so they did catch. But who did they catch here? So we got the names here. We got a Karim Chabi, 41, Catherine Trudel Primo, 38. You see the advanced age here. Jean-François Roberge, 54. Manon Primo, 54. Mathieu Bouchard, 34. Jennifer DeVries, 43. Michel Francesco Manicone, 24. He's the young one. Julie Saint-Jacques, 42. And a 9th individual, Carlo Polcaro, 35. So you see the ages are in the mids and going up, except one exception here, 24. Of course, they'll be charged with stupefier trafficking related offenses. Here they're saying, according to our information, one of the persons apprehended would be tied to a member of a sympathizing biker club to the Hells Angels. So, underling club. So there you go. One of them is linked to an underling club of the Hells Angel. In other words, this is most likely part of the Hells Angels umbrella operation here. And it took about 50-ish cops for this one. And here are the places that they seem to have knocked the doors of. Let me just double check. Yeah, there you go. We got southwest of Montreal, RDP, Pointe-aux-Trembles, Côte-des-Neiges, NDG, and Brownsburg, Chatham, Saint-Jérôme, and Saint-Hyacinthe. Now, they're saying the one suspect that is still wanted is Taibbi, 35. I'm curious if it's the same Taibbi we read about in the because I remember a guy name was Taibbi, the one from the remember the guy who remember that restaurant, the old port restaurant where the Eclipse Squad were monitoring for several months or whatever, and I think his story is like 2-3 years old. This one, I think, the guy, this Arab guy, whatever, he was going in, and the cops saw him, and he wanted to go ask him questions. He got scared before the cops could talk to him. I think he went in the kitchen of that place, and he tried to force them to hide his fire tool before the cops come speak to him. You remember? That guy's name was Taibbi, I believe. So, and I believe he would. I think I could be wrong. I think he was around this age too. But there's many Taibbis. Maybe it's not him. But I see this. It keeps me suspicious here. What else are we going? Because that was a very infamous restaurant with high level gangsters going there, and this guy is so comfortable to go in that same restaurant. Asked him, come on, who goes in a restaurant, a random restaurant, tells him to keep his gun? So that guy was obviously connected to some people. He knew that place very well. He was there for a reason. And now you see this big operation here. It looks pretty damn serious. I don't know if it's him or not, but I'm just saying why I suspect this. But it's still of low chance because there could be many Taibbis. Next one. Wait, not next one. Let me just finish reading this. Yeah, never mind. To just talk about their background. There's nothing really that's unusual. Stupefire charges in the past, etc. No need to worry about that. Now, they're just saying, just for stats, look at this. They're saying that the anti-gang squad of the Montreal police have seized 400 kilos of Caine. They seized 400 kilos of Caine that went from Toronto to Montreal in the last 3 years. Now, they're telling you, how does it come to Quebec? He's saying that 90% of the cases, Caine comes into Canada or Quebec, 90% of the cases, through land, through trucks, is what he's saying. Now, he's saying there's 2 pipelines that leave from Mexico, or two roads, I guess you say paths, that leave from Mexico and arrive to Canada. One is towards the west, which leaves from Texas and to California towards the east, and the other one, sorry about that, let me just repeat. One goes towards the west. I'm assuming he's saying the Vancouverish area, and that one starts from Texas and California, and he's saying that there's another route that goes towards the east, in ends in Toronto. Maybe I misread this, but yeah, that's it. No, that's it. That seems correct. That's it. All right. The other one goes to Toronto. So yeah, what you need to know is 90% of it goes through land, and it leaves Mexico, and it crosses through, Texas or California, and then from Texas, California, it either goes to the west coast or goes to the east coast. In the beginning of the pandemic, the price of a key had hit $85,000. At a certain point, it had doubled, I remember. But it has plummeted significantly after that, it says. So much so that it is currently $18,000 in Montreal in October 2025. That is insane that it's $18,000. This is record level lows. Absolutely crazy, man. And now in the region of Toronto, Caine is sold for no freaking way. That is nuts. In the region of Toronto, a kilogram is sold for $1,000 to $1,500. Oh, less expensive than Montreal. For a moment, I was like, there's no way. This is crazy. I never saw numbers like this. Okay, it's less expensive than Montreal, which explains why individuals or members of organizations go get it from there. Right. So, before the pandemic, the price of key was $55,000. And then when the pandemic happened, it went up to 85,000. And now it's plummeted, they said, to what was it? 18,000, let's say. Now it says, now that's it. This is the game changer here. This is insightful, uh, the insightful conclusion, Now, this is good. But, so now we said it's to these days, it's 17 or 18,000. Says, so that's what we noticed, right? But at 17,000 the kilogram, no longer is it only the high level criminal organizations that can afford it at these prices anymore, but equally the independents and smaller organizations or individuals that are going to be able to go get it from importers and distributors. That's the game changer here. You no longer, that's it. The smaller guy, a lot more smaller guys have access to $17,000 as opposed to when it was 55 or 85,000. That's a big game changer, man. This phenomenon witnessed in the last 3 years is called they termed it democratization of the trafficking of cane by police forces. That is to say that individuals or more groups have developed contacts with countries that produce, such as Mexico, and they bring in the stupefiers themselves. They are autosufficient. They no longer need the help of big, larger organizations to import. And they no longer have to pay a tax. And these new players have come to compete with bigger organizations. And that's what causing the flooding of supply and why the prices are staying low. Excellent. So that's what's really happening. Very well explained. The consequence of this low price, more people getting in, and that couldn't before, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It keeps it even cheap, and it takes the taxes away from the big ones, and it causes that, how you say, those feuds that we've been seeing as well, where they were no longer want to be under the umbrellas of the Hells Angels or things like that. Next one, RDP. RDP is Montreal. And if just in case you wanted to know, remember we read about that mobster's dealership that was burned? Remember that one? Was it Marco Pizzi? Yeah, it was Marco Pizzi's dealership was burned. That was in RDP. So let's continue. I'm not saying it's linked. I'm just trying to tell you, these names that repeat themselves. A commerce targeted by fires in 24 hours. No, the 2 times in 24 hours. Got attacked twice in 24 hours. Wow. By fires, too. They burned it one night. They came back the next night to try to burn it again. But sounds more like they're trying to send a message again. A commerce located on a Boulevard Henri Bourassa Est. Yeah, in RDP, let's just skip that part. As was targeted twice in 24 hours. Where are we here? It happened on the night of Tuesday to Wednesday at 2 a.m. They found what they qualified as a minor fire when they arrived the first time. I'm not sure they're going to give us anything extra. Then the second time, at 1 a.m. in the morning. All right, yeah, I think you got the picture. Twice in 24 hours in RDP. Now, actually, one question I have is, what kind of commerce is this? Can they tell us? Do they tell us? What's up, MRJ? How are you, buddy? Aggressive Bat, what's up, buddy? Peso Queso, what's up, buddy? Yeah, Yeah, I don't see him. They just say it's a commerce. Sorry, guys. I apologize. I'm for those who don't know, I'm out of it. I took some antibiotics. I broke a tooth like a few months ago. Your boy doesn't like dentists. He doesn't do dentists. But I still had some antibiotics at home for another time. I keep them. I don't usually go the full treatment just in case. And guess what came to my help? So, anyways, I got infected, bro, and I was really bad, dude. And then I used my antibiotics, and it saved me. And I had like 10 days treatment of this, self-prescribed, but it worked. It worked. It got me out of it. But now it's back in force, bro. It's back in force, and I actually need to go see a dentist. But I was trying to buy myself some time, bro. I was waiting for some paperwork to come in so that I can go do that. So what I'm trying to tell you is my brain's hazy, and I'm not here. I'm sure you can tell. I'm not here, man. I'm completely dead. Where were we? Okay. So mistakes will happen. Where were we? All right. A second home crippled by rounds. No. Yeah. Second home targeted in Lévis. So again, well, what's the date on this one? 23rd October. So you noted that we had the red zone fires. We had the first fire. We had actually three fires. One of them, I don't know which one it is because we didn't find it. But for us, what we did find was the. Did I close it? The first one was this one, October 20th, Vanier, vehicle burning, right? Was that it? Yeah, it was a vehicle. Then we had the day after that, parking lot in Lévis, burning. Now you find out that we come. See, there's action. Now it's like the day after, so it's 3 days in a row, right? Is that it? We saw 20, 21. Okay, 22, skip 2022. When was it? 2022. Skip 22. And then go to 22. I was going to say that again. I'm really not there. October 20th, October 21, and then skip 22, and October 23 is when we land here. A second house crippled with rounds in 1 week. So it's Halloween, and I don't think anyone died here, but he does have the RIP sign right there. Hope and thank God that didn't happen to him, and that he's not one of these skull and bones here. Where were we, man? Rounds were let off on this home. I'm just trying to see if we can get extra without reading everything. Someone heard the two booms. You can actually see them. It happened at 9 p.m. They're saying. The suspects fled. Gotcha. The usual. Now, who is the person who got targeted? Here it says, an ordinary family man. They secured the scene, talked to witnesses. According to neighbors, the man targeted by rounds would be a father of a family separated that's ordinary, and he would be living in this house for a couple of years with his young son part-time. It is surely an error on the person. We have a hard time believing that he could have been implicated in these underworld stuff. And you know what? It's starting to be, it's kind of getting to a lot of mistakes these days. One too many, and it's right. We keep hearing about this mistaken identity, mistaken person. I think we might have a story that mentions that too. Another one. It's happening a lot. Tied to the armed conflict. They think that it's possibly tied to the wars, BFM and Hells Angels or independence. Now they're saying, let us remind that last Friday, a house in the area of Saint Nicolas was crippled with rounds for a reason that's unknown. No one was hurt on that one. But cops cannot link both of these events. Got it. All right. Oh, look, fresh one. October 25th, Saturday. Man, this week for the Quebec area, it's back to back, huh? The 20th, the 21st, 23rd, and now we arrive to the 25th. And that's not even to mention one of the vehicles burning events that we didn't know the date of. But here's another one. It continues that whole week, and you could see it with your own eyes. A criminal fire on a vehicle. A man of 42 years of age arrested near a building tied to the Blood family mafia. Ah, a 42-year-old man was arrested in link with a vehicle burning that happened in the parking lot in the sector of Sainte-Foy on Friday. So he got arrested. It's saying the events happened. Okay, that's the address, but it happened at 8 p.m. I think you could see the place is burnt, right? I don't know if I'm reading the pictures right, but you saw the car. Well, that's the car. At least you know the car is burning, but it looks like it also touched the house. Yeah, this picture you can't see much of the damage. Oh, there you go. There it is. Yeah, so it did touch the house. Here, clear picture here. Sorry, man. Let me just, because I got two screens, so I don't see what you see. I have to double check the other screen to make sure, but it's not the screen I'm reading from. Forget about it. An address. All right, a well-known address. On the 14th of May, 2025, the building situated at this address was targeted in a police operation. Got it? That was targeting vehicles and residences used by the Blood family mafia. The search at that time, they got a 45 that had a fire tool that the serial number was scratched. Quantity of Caine, $2,200. 11 cell phones. 3 men and 2 women were equally arrested. And then barely 2 weeks later, the building was set on fire intentionally. Oh, wow, okay. So you got that, right? There was a bust on the 14th of May. They got surprised. The cops went there. They even took their 11 cell phones. And like 2 weeks after that, these BFMers, they there's a police investigation, all that, maybe fingerprints in there. They decided to torch the place. So 2 weeks later, barely, the place got torched. Now this article is actually telling us that they're arresting someone close to the building. So close, strange. So I guess you think the building was burnt, it's over, no? But he got arrested near it. It's the address. He got arrested around this address. So this is their spot. Interesting. Got no clue. Where are we? This one. All right. Yeah, there you go. Remember earlier talking about killing innocent people by mistake? Here's another article. They killed someone by mistake from prison. The criminals managed to retrace members of or to spot or locate enemies of their gang. Enemies of their gang, and from inside of prison, and to give money and the weapons to go kill people. So basically, from prison, they put out an order to go kill someone. In other words, from prison, all of it from prison, man. And here you have a picture. It says Noel Garcia Frias was offed by rounds in his vehicle in Charlemagne in 2023. Mistake on the person. He had the same model vehicle as the individual they were targeting. And okay, I think I remember this one. I remember this story. This has to do with the Montreal street gang wars. 2 gangs fighting each other, killing each other. Remember we read those, the ones with the gangs with the numbers. The names are numbers. Remember that one? I can't. I'll for the life of me, I'll never get that story down. It's so convoluted, and I keep forgetting. But it has something to do with the Flamehead boys from Laval killing the other guys. Was it Downtown Projects or something with other dudes? And they got their revenge. Each one got their revenge, but the Laval one has a lot more bodies, I think. This might be one of them, but this was a mistake on the identity. This person's innocent. That's what you need to know, but the orders came from prison, is what they're saying. I'm just trying to skip reading all this. The accused would be tied to the Laval gang Flamehead boys, according to our information. So there you go. And the two men is Mohamed Berberi and Andre Donnet. Yeah, we already mentioned those names because we read an article before. Berberi affirms having furnished tools, vehicles, and cash, or cash. He was sharing the information on the locations by the targets and their homes. The 29-year-old criminal has even admitted having hired a private investigator in order to obtain information on one of the close friends of the targets. Then accomplices that were free. So remember, this plot came from jail, right? But then they have people outside. The accomplices free had installed a GPS tracking device on the Audi Q8, which they believed was the one belonging to Justice Owusu Tajuddin. But it was for this innocent man right here. Berberi then finally realized that they did not get the right person. But he did not stop the GPS. Neither did he tell the people who were going on the mission. He didn't advise them or anything. So Noel Garcia Frias was then killed on June 2023. Yeah, we're going to finish this part. Well, I can't show they're going to get me in trouble. But Mr. Berberi has still insisted that his his efforts to find Justice Owusu Tajuddin. Oh no, he still tried. Once he saw that mistake happen, they got the wrong person. It's not like he gave up. He continued plotting to get that guy killed, and he did get that guy killed, right? The young man named Steady was hit by Browns 2 months later in the parking lot of Bar Arabesque. That's, I believe, it's the same one I used to go as a kid. It's on, what do you call it? On Guy Concordia. If it hasn't changed spot, it should be in the same damn spot, you know. You could go take shisha there, and they used to serve food. There was like a balcony upstairs. That's the way I remember it. Wonder if it changed or not. And that was decades ago. Well, I guess it's still there. You see it. They're mentioning it. And shout out to Mountain Woman. What's up, Mountain Woman? Oh, thank you. He says some guy said it's 24 and FHB. Thanks, man. My memory is really bad with the street gang numbers. After a while, I'm completely lost, you know. There were so many names in this story, it's tough for me to remember. But thank you. Mr. No Name, huh? Mr. No Name. The guy has no freaking name. It's you, buddy. I can never pronounce who you are, you know. That's a smart way to proceed, man. Let's see. Let's continue here. Continuing. Oh, yeah, we got this, yeah. So Steady got killed in downtown. In parallel, Berberi, offered $100,000 in order to know the location of another enemy. Man, $100,000 just to give someone's location. My God, it couldn't have been easier to find someone for that. Jesus Christ. They wanted Christopher Jean Vilsain. Remember, he got killed too. He then transmitted the plan of operation to Donnet, 22-year-old, which was finally not put into execution. So he gave it to 22-year-old. He didn't do it. Where are we next? But we know Jean Vilsain still got killed. So what happened? 1 year later, the rapper known as, I can't say that name because you know why. They get me in trouble to even try to hide that. 1 year later, he had a contract on his head for an important sum. The influential gang member was taken down the following day. Now, I'm always curious, what makes him worth $100,000? What makes him worth that much? Because if you really hate someone, and it's not business, for example, why would you want to spend money on someone? If you hate him that much, the last thing I would imagine you want to do is spend hard-earned money, difficult to make, on that person. It's like as if you spend money on him, So might as well give him money. So I have a hard time believing it's something stupid. Like he stepped on my Jordans, I hate him, and I want him. I'll pay $100,000. There's got to be some serious reason, or maybe it's because he killed a friend. Maybe that's good enough. Maybe that's just good enough. It's a best friend revenge or something, and his best friend's worth $100,000. I could see that making sense. But I'm wondering if there's a possibility of just some more business calculation in there, Something more with numbers. I wonder that you would pay $100,000. But anyways, as you see here, he got killed, right? My no-name friend says he stole a big amount of snow, I believe. Oh, I see. That's never a good idea. It's never a good idea. I had a friend who did that once. A sad story, man. He was just a kid. He was just a kid. Of course, sadly, he's no longer with us. He's gone, long gone. And I knew another kid. He did the same thing. And he's long gone too. No one ever saw him again. But the thing is, when you're dumb when you're a kid, everyone deserves a second chance. But the problem is when you steal someone's stash, and that someone may have borrowed it from someone else. Now he's on the line to be killed. Some crazy stuff could happen. No one should be robbing people. Shouldn't be robbing people of this. It's almost giving a death sentence to somebody. But yeah, sad stuff. But he was not young. When I say young, I was talking about 18, 19. When you're 25, 30, this is no longer young. Here. Can't just swipe it to being a young kid. Where were we? Sorry, man, I got lost. So all this plotting, all this stuff, it happened while he was in prison, because they're saying during all this time, now Jean gets killed. Mr. Mohamed Berberi was still inside of detention for having simply discharged a fire tool. I apologize. He got Friday 19 additional years to that Friday. But 19 doesn't mean 19. André Donat, thank you K6 Real, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. André Donat. So this kid here, he was going through trial for murdering a 16-year-old. He got sentenced to prison life. He got life in prison. I don't know what life in prison means here, but yeah, this guy got life in prison. Anyways, guess we're gonna leave it there. The guy's got a good barber. At least he's got hair, unlike me. Lucky guy. I'll take it. I'll take that any day. All right. Then we just read this. It's talking about exactly the story we read, just another article, but I kind of regret reading this one. Who wrote this one? Camille Payan's good, but I would have rather read Maïs's article. She's even better. But yeah, we should have. Sorry, I should have read this, but I'm not going to read it now. We're going to go back the second time. But they're going through all the stories. You get to see their faces here. I'm trying to see if I can, without reading, take something new for you. Or were we? Yeah, he's saying the same thing. He gave him the money. He furnished everything. Wow, so they had multiple GPS tracking devices. Oh, look at all these are details we didn't get. Look, all right, we're gonna have to at least read this part. You can learn something. Mohammed Berberi, then detained, transmitted to his co-conspirators the images of certain targets. He did not forego any details in order to follow his enemies. For example, he gave them GPS trackers. He hired a private detective to obtain information on his entourage. He furnished everything: fire tools, money, and vehicles. Damn. André Donnet, equally incarcerated, is also implicated in the plot, as demonstrate elements on his cell phone. He transmits the license plate. So he transmits the license plate number of the car of one of the victims. He does searches on Google for the GPS devices. I guess he buys them. He's the one who bought it. I don't know. He did research. He shares photos of the fire tools and offers $10,000 to a chauffeur. That's why he got life, huh? But a big part of the proof, they're saying it's evidence from the cell phones of the two men. Deadly GPS devices. Berberi coordinates 3 GPS devices on a hit team on the field. No, not hit team, a field team of people who are on the field to go install them. So they have 3 GPSs, gives them to people, and they're in charge of installing them on the targets. He pays his accomplices through his cell phone. He downloads an application, of course, an application for the GPS device. You know, you got an app on your phone, and from that app you can get to see what the GPS is. That's how you use it, right? Yeah. And he does this all inside of prison, by the way. All of this is done while in prison, where he's supposed to be surveilled, they're saying. Where were we now? Yeah, this we know it's mistaken identity. Yeah, and then there's the judge talking. We're just gonna skip that. Okay, yeah, this looks like the juicy part. Okay, lucrative contract on his head, on the head of a victim. In a conversation, I say ominous conversation retraced on his cell phone, Christopher Jean Vilsain, remember he got killed, confides through a text that a big contract was put on his head, he said. He mentions also a conflict with the Arabs. So he was killed the next day after texting that. So yeah, he died. The cops saw his body. They took, he probably had his phone on him. The cops, they did an analysis of his phone and they saw this text. That the night before he sent that. He said, man, he knew there was a contract on his head for a lot of money. and he mentioned a conflict with the Arabs. And this checks out with. So I got two anonymous people. I don't know how you guys do it. There's no username for me to read. Maybe it's a bug on my end because I'm using a software, streaming software, and it's a little bit buggy. Maybe that's why I don't see your names. Maybe you actually have names and I'm the idiot here. But he wrote supposedly, allegedly. I like when people say supposedly, allegedly. I like that. That's good. Supposedly, allegedly, Dirty S's offing was also payback for the offing of a guy named Boulin, who was offed weeks earlier. That guy was close to FHB and 24 gang and Arab Power. Makes sense. You see how that goes exactly with the message he sent the day before. That he mentioned in his message, that there's a conflict with the Arabs. Oh, look, it fits perfect. He offers $100,000, but this is the thing. The lawyers could have played this up, because the proof that they have is that he was willing to pay $100,000 to find Dirty S. They never said kill Dirty S. The lawyers could have played this up for him. Say, look, yeah, he's willing to pay $100,000, but you haven't proven that it was to kill the guy. It was to locate him only. That's the only proof you guys have. How are you going to charge him with murder if he was just trying to find him? This is a really, really good one. But I don't think it worked. Right? Dirty S got 19, I think. So it didn't seem to work. Because I don't think someone pays $100,000 just to find you. What's that going to do? Find the guy. But when he learns that Vilsain was spending the evening in bar Yoko Luna, he shares this information with André Donnet and creates a precise plan of operation. How many people that's needed in order to create a hit team, the location where to be parked, the escape route, photos of the tools available. Berbery collects information on the close friends of the target with the help of the private investigator. When Vilsain flies to the Dominican Republic, Berbery finds out where he is and plots to have him killed over there. Imagine that. Can you imagine that? The judge denounces cell phones in prison. Berbery got 19, we know that. Okay. Anyways, we got the story. Pretty fascinating story, huh? $100,000. Back and forth. They really there's something serious that happened behind closed doors, and as you know, we read one person tell us probably what it is. Crazy. Where are we at? Thank you, Heretic. Nothing wrong with Mr. Clean. Yeah. I hope so. But yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. Age. So next one, we got man killed in Côte-Nord, the North Coast. The police seize the vests of a member of the Hells Angels. Now, I don't know who he is. They're not giving me a name here of... I thought they wouldn't tell us who this person is, but they said that the cops seized a vest of a Hells Angel. What does that mean? So Daniel Renault, this funny enough, I'll always keep repeating because there's always new people coming in. Or, my videos are very long. I don't expect someone to watch all of them. You could watch the parts that you like, skip forward, whatever. So some people miss. But Daniel Renault, this man right here who wrote this article, he got a $250,000 bounty on his head, by the way. Now, I don't think it's no longer active, but he did have it at some point. Okay, let's continue. Oh, wow. I was not expecting his name to pop up. The Hells Angel Alexandre Maltais had a big surprise Friday morning at his arrival at the Pearson Toronto Airport. the border control. Well, I don't know how you say it in English, but let's just, I guess, the man, I don't even want to screw this up, man. Let's just say border control, border agents. Okay, were waiting for him after his flight and seized his vest, his Quebec section vest that was in his suitcase. Now, who is Alexandre Maltais? Why I found this intriguing is last year or early this year, probably early this year. So that's him. Okay, early this year, there was a hit team sent out, probably by the BFM, with machine guns, and they sprayed the main road while he was driving. They tried to kill him. So that Alexandre Maltais. So he was at the airport. He arrived at the Toronto airport. Cops were already waiting for him, and for some reason they seized his vest. What's going on with that? Border control. That's it. Border control agencies. Maltais, 45, is suspected of having participated in the beating of the 40-year-old man who was seriously hurt on the 23rd of August inside of the restaurant in 7th Island. Remember we saw that one, guys? Do you remember that? That footage video, if you haven't, check the channel. There's a video. Look at the thumbnail. You'll be able to find it. The Hells Angels, they punk someone at the bar. Like, it looks like it was a long time coming or something. But what's his name? So that's good. So in that video, I couldn't recognize anyone. It was way too, blurry. It was way too blurry. It's hard to say who the hell this guy is, who is that guy, whatever. But wow, we learned something. Crazy, huh? Everything gets solved eventually. So they're saying Alexandre Maltais is suspected of having beaten up that 40-year-old. So he must have been in that footage somewhere. We did see that one. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to read, see if I can get. Oh, in the last few days, they also, just so you know, they're saying they raided Saint-Léonard, d'Aston, Mascouche, Saint-Jérôme, Port-Cartier. So they raided a bunch of other places in the last few days. They're saying not last few weeks, but last few days. Okay, but just a side note here. Don't know what that means. Now, during these raids, the cops also put their hands, or on this raid perhaps, not even sure which one they're referring to. I guess they're referring to this one. They put their hands on the vest of a prospect vest. So no, it has to be those raids. It cannot be this one, because he's not going to have a prospect vest. He's a full Hell's Angel. Doesn't make sense. But they're saying during these, I guess, raids, they put their hands on the vest, a prospect vest of the Hells Angels, a vest of a striker, Hells Angels, Satan's crew, and $20,000 in cash. No one was arrested or accused. According to our information, the residence of a member of the Red Bones Nation, a sub-club of the Hells Angels, Géry Fleurmeus, was equally searched. I remember Géry Fleurmeus. That episode when we said multicultural, Hells Angels is now multicultural. You remember we were making this joke? If you ever look in the videos, you're going to find it, but they mentioned Mr. Géry Fleurmeus in there, you know? And they always have, the Haitians, bro, they always have these gangster-ass names that they always have it, man. Fleurmeus, you know? It's like Maximus, Fleurmeus, or Paladin names, you know? Things like that. I guarantee he's one. But, yeah, his house was, they went to his home. Red Bones Nation. Now, look, they're saying the rebellion of the independent traffickers against the Hells Angels has spread wide in the North Coast for approximately 1 year, but the events on the 23rd of August would not be tied to this conflict, according to our information. Interesting. So 23rd of August is this thing that happened at the bar, you know? So interesting that now they're reversing. Before they said they think it was linked, now they're saying it's not linked to the conflict. I guess we jumped the gun too, because the before this video came out, or was it a day after or a day before? I can't recall, but very, very close to this video. They were released very close. It was the other video, again on the North Coast, maybe Seventh Island, in another bar in front of it. Two guys beat up another guy, and they clearly, it was about BFM. They beat up a guy who was like friendly with the BFM, and the guy who beat him up had the Hells Angels shirt, or support to Hells Angels or something. It happened so close to this one. It was like the energy was there. It was back to back, same location. So I guess that may have led us to assume this had to be also it. But here they're reversing, and they're saying they would not be tied to the rebellions of the gangs in the North Coast, although it did happen, the rebellion in the North Coast. Let's keep reading. So what is this reason? What's the reason for this to happen? According to our sources, the Hells Angels would be taking the initiative on the North Coast now, more particularly in the sector of 7th Island, controlled by the Hells Angels, Alexandre Maltais, according to the SQ. So Alexandre Maltais, they tried to kill him beginning of this year, remember? And remember that they caught Ice Pick, but the other leader of the rebellion was Alboivin. And Alboivin actually was made in charge of that area. So he has a fire pipeline from there. That's, was it? No, not Sete, sorry, what you call it, the other place? Saguenay, Lac Saint Jean. But it's still going to be up there in that zone. That zone is going to be his area of influence. Very, very interesting. Alexandre Maltais goes up there too. So they both want this area. According to the SQ, the Hells Angels are now going more and more public in order to show off, to say this is ours, etc., intimidate people. But they're not giving us the reason why he was beat up. I don't get it. They're not giving us the reason. Yeah, but anyways, looks like the lawmakers are gonna start being, they're gonna start harassing them if they wear their colors and try to go out partying. They're not gonna have none of that. So if they think they're gonna just go out partying and then beating up random people, etc., the cops are gonna be on their tail, and that's what it says. All right, last story here. Hells Angels at a bar, Le Gibson. That's the name of the bar. The SQ proceeds to searches. What's going on? A person 40 years of age got hurt, injuries, during this event that happened on the 22nd to 23rd of August. Now, what is this event? And this article is actually the 24th of October. But what's this event of the 22nd or 23rd? Is that the guy who got beat up at the bar? That's probably what they're telling. Yeah, it's probably they're talking about this same event here. Okay, gotcha. Let's keep reading. The investigation of the SQ on the event that happened in the bar Gibson. Yeah, that's it. How could I forget the name of the bar already, dude? I already forgot that was the bar. Unbelievable. But anyways, they are okay. Yeah, it looks like it's talking about the same thing. I'm a little bit. Yeah, they're talking about the same thing. I wonder. Could it be? Could it be? So they seem to be implying that this move they did that day may have led to the search warrants that were talked about. This one event may have led to the next, and it led to him being stopped at the airport as well, and then they got his patch seized, etc. Because they were investigating. They were using that day where the guy got beat up as an excuse. And so they're making them pay, basically. It's going to make them think twice doing something like that. Because just imagine if some way, somehow, going after a random citizen and trying to flirt. I say, show off your colors that day. Was it if this led to you being arrested at the airport, having what was it? If this led to the searches, somehow the one event led to the other, to the searches in Saint Léonard d'Aston, Mascouche, Saint Jérôme, then you'll think twice about ever doing that again. It was not worth it, basically. But I don't know. They're not saying it, but they still want to mention that these things happened, and they're investigating the guy who got punched. But somehow there was like 5 raids a couple of days before this. And then somehow, magically, they were waiting for Mr. Maltais at the airport, and it was specifically for having punched that guy. He's suspected of doing it. So far, the reason though is not said. The reason's not given. But they're saying what reason it is not. They're saying the reason is not because of the BFM thing. They're saying it is not because of that. Something else. Well, that would have been a good reason, But if it's just to intimidate people, then that would be a stupid reason. It was not. Anyways, let's just see where I missed the messages. See. It's funny, Daniel. It says, you said at the time, someday we'd find out who that was. Yeah, I don't know which one we're talking about now. I lost the train of thought, but I do say that often, that someday we're going to find out, And we do. And then later on, we get names, we get what happened. It's pretty fascinating. I say it's pretty fun. I said, though, rather. It's pretty fun when that happens. Thank you. And where are we? I doubt this guy wasn't selling at the bar for them. Anyways, all right. I think that was the latest messages there. Thanks to everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you for hanging out. And yeah, tons of action. We had Hell's Angels getting stopped at the airport. Finally, they're letting us know that he was involved in beating up the guy at the bar, Alexandre Maltais. What a coincidence. By the way, same guy who's at war with the Blood Family Mafia. His enemy is also trying to seize control in that area, and he's all on the run. Oh yeah, and he helped to form the new group to replace BFM, North Gang Savage, something like that, by the way. And everyone defected and they joined that. And what else do we had? We had, we found out the street gang war inside of Montreal, the 24 Flamehead boys. They were really serious about killing the Downtown Project guy and the other dude. I forgot his name, but they got like 3-4 of them. And we found out they killed an innocent person. And they were willing to pay $100,000 just to find the guy. The guy even paid a private investigator, 3 GPS devices, and even used what looks like this guy looks almost like a kid, and he was heavily involved in this. He was the how do you call him? He sounded like the other guy was in prison planning all this, but then this man right here looked like he was outside of prison, and he was actually the legs and feet making all this happen. Well, he paid the big price for being the legs and feet. They said they gave him life, but Canada life, whatever that means. The guy who planned it, he got 19, and man, that was one demonic story. But we got to refresh that Flamehead Boys, 24 gang, Arab Power. That's on one side versus now poor guys here, they're dead. One innocent in there. I forgot the other gang's name, but they didn't. I don't think I read it while I was reading it with you today to remember. And then we had what? We had vehicles burning in. We had a building. This is just a summary for those who wanted a quick summary of all of it. We had a building. There's this spot it looks like they used to hang out. This hangout spot with homes here. They got busted earlier this year. It got busted. Then when it did get busted, less than 2 weeks later, this location gets burned. So the cops believe that the Blood Family Mafia, whatever, they came back to burn this location because that raid actually, they took like 11 cell phones, some Caine, I believe, and fire tools, And then they got worried, but it was too late. They got busted, right? But still, within 2 weeks, they burned this place down. Now we find out recently a vehicle, a criminal. Yeah, this week there was like three or four vehicles burning in the red zone. Someone was setting fires on vehicles again, sending messages, whatnot, and they're looking for who was doing this. But guess who the person they arrested is a BFM member, and or tied to BFM. And guess where they arrested him? Near the location of that stash house, whatever that they burned earlier this year, around that spot. So they found him near there, you know? So it makes you think and realize that this neighborhood, this area is where they hang out or where they have some familiarity with. They're around there, at least some of them. Then we have, where were we? Yeah, these are the actual, this one was, they targeted a house twice in 1 week. We don't know why, in Lévis again, but it follows the action. BFM, Red Zone, Hells Angels, BFM, whatever. Here you go. It continues. Commerce target. But this was in Montreal, actually. RDP, a commerce targeted twice in 24 hours. Now, which storyline this belongs to, I have absolutely no idea. Absolutely none. They're not giving us any hints. All I can say is it's RDP neighborhood. And the last fires that we covered there, it was related to the mob. Or the mob getting attacked. But that doesn't mean this is. But that's the only time we heard about a fire there or something like that. So here you have one. Twice in 24 hours. It's not kids playing with matches and they had an accident here, you know. And what was it? We learned more about the Montreal-Toronto Corridor. What did we learn? We learned that it used to be, was it 50-ish kilo or 50,000 per key. Then the pandemic hit. It became 80,000 per key. And then after that, somehow it started to get flooded. Prices started to go down. And it got so cheap that no longer you needed a big credit to be able to buy a single key. You no longer had to be one of those wealthy people with capital. No longer needed to approach these big organizations to front you it, whatever, because the small guy could now afford it. So what happened is more people started to come inside of this business. More factions started to come in, and because now the key is 17,000, they said, I think, or 18, so a lot of smaller players are coming, profits are going down, and this explains also the explosion in rivalries and things like that. Hells Angels not getting their taxes, like it self explains itself, you know, if you look at it this way. It's pretty interesting. That was it. Did I miss anything on this one? I think that was the gist of it. And again, we have that week of madness, Lévis burning vehicles, sending a message, you know, this part of that. This one too. And the first one was, they arrested a guy, nothing huge here, but a 50-year-old, and he had tons of pills. And this one, Latsuk, it's nothing special. Okay, yeah, that's it. That's a summary of what we just saw today. If you didn't check, we weren't here earlier. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day. Thank you for being here. Thank you to everybody.